Yo, what is good YouTube? I am Richie Kim, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on Giannis Antetokounmpo's first signature shoe, the Nike Zoom Freak 1. If you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. But anyways, let's get right into it. As always, starting off with the traction, the Zoom Freak 1 features a combination of traction patterns. So on this white part, which is a different rubber than the translucent rubber, it features like lines and almost like a herringbone traction pattern where the clear rubber portions create like this rose pattern. And the traction on the Zoom Freak 1s weren't bad, but they weren't good. If you guys are playing on clean courts, I don't think you should have any problems at all. You should stop pretty well. But for those of you that are playing on your average courts, like a 24-hour Fitness or LA Fitness, you guys may run into a little bit of issues. I would say it's pretty consistent in terms of how the traction actually performs. So what's gonna happen is you're not going to stop on a dime unless you're playing on extremely clean courts. You're gonna slide just a little bit before you come to a stop, and that's pretty much how it is everywhere. But if you guys are playing on dustier courts, do keep in mind that you will have to wipe in order to maintain that decent traction. Otherwise, you may experience quite a few problems. I don't know what it is about this traction setup, but the translucent portions actually collect a lot of dust compared to the solid rubber outsole, and I'm pretty sure that's just how it is across like almost all of Nike's translucent rubber options. It's just how it is, and I don't know why. So I'm really not sure why they went with the translucent / solid rubber outsole for the Zoom Freak 1s. In my personal opinion, I think that future colorways that will have the full solid rubber outsoles are going to have great traction. But if you all are going for the Zoom Freak 1 and they feature the translucent and solid rubber options, then just keep in mind that you will have to wipe, especially if you guys are playing on your dustier courts. Moving on to the cushion, the Zoom Freak 1 features a full-length Phylon midsole with a double-stack zoom unit in the heel, and to me this cushion setup is very reminiscent of a Kobe shoe. Like pretty much any Kobe shoe, it has this setup. It has the zoom in the heel and just like Phylon or lunar lawn or something like that in the forefoot, which isn't a bad thing. Like, I was honestly expecting this shoe to have way more impact protection than it did. But it makes sense because Giannis is always wearing Kobe's, and I think he wears like the Kobe 80 Exodus primarily, and this feels very, very identical to that. However, I do think that the Phylon up in the forefoot is softer than regular Phylon, so I'm gonna say that this is injected Phylon. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's not that super hard Phylon, so it does have a little bit of bounce and a little bit of impact protection, while you also get that core feel, which is really nice. In the heel, like I said, you do have that double stack zoom unit, which doesn't really make sense to me because I don't use my heel that much. I'm mainly playing on my forefoot, so it would have been nice to have that zoom in the forefoot, but it is what it is. And if you guys do land on your heels often, you will definitely feel it, because I did, and it does feel nice. So the cushion on the Zoom Freak 1s are very identical to Kobe's, so if you like the way that feels, then you guys will like this setup. Moving on to the materials, the Zoom Freak 1 features a mesh, and it feels very, very rough and hard. It softens up a little bit after you play in it, but it's still definitely not the most premium feeling mesh. I think they could have done better with the material usage on the Zoom Freak 1s. Giannis is an all-star athlete, so I think he deserves the best in his shoe, and it really just doesn't show with the mesh. Don't get me wrong, like it does the job perfectly fine. It offers a lot of containment. It's somewhat breathable. It does get a little bit hot in the shoe, but overall I do wish that the mesh was a little better quality. Not only does the shoe feature mesh, but also in the highway areas, like around on the medial side of the toe box, you do have this layer of fuse just for added extra durability. So moving on to the fit, I think that the Zoom Freak 1s do run true to size. So if you guys are slightly wide footers to hella wide footers, I would recommend trying these on in stores, because they do get a little bit narrow up in the forefoot area, especially with this rubber piece that protrudes up onto the actual upper of the shoe. You may feel it if you guys have really wide feet, so just try them on in stores if you can. If you can't, I would say go true to size. I'm a slightly wide footer and I went true to size, and I didn't really have any problems, but I could definitely see wide footers running into a problem with the shoe. So moving on to the support, I thought the support in the Zoom Freak ones was just fine. Nothing spectacular, but nothing bad. So in the heel, you do have a heel counter, which helps you lock you in, and the sculpting of the heel just helps you lock in your heel as well. Combine that with the fit of the shoe and you're pretty much locked in and good to go. In the forefoot, I didn't have any side-to-side movement on the footbed, which is awesome. And you also do have a lateral outrigger, that this translucent rubber piece that also comes up onto the upper of the shoe. It does form that outrigger to help you on your lateral movements, so you won't have any instability issues that way. So not to mention, also in the heel area, the reverse swoosh actually comes up onto the heel area up on the upper, and it helps contain your heel as well. Also on the medial side of the heel, you have a rubber piece that does the exact same thing, which is just really nice to, have in the shoe because it does give that extra containment. The Zoom Freak one retails for 120 bucks, and if you guys like the performance of Kobe models, then I would say you all will probably enjoy this because it feels really similar in terms of like how they feel on court. But $120, there are competitors out there around in that same price point that do perform better. By no means is this a bad performing shoe. I do wish that they did use a completely solid rubber outsole on this version of the shoe, so I could give you guys a better idea of what that traction is going to play like, because solid rubbers, at least when it comes to Nike, is almost always better. So I feel like the solid rubber options will have much better traction than this. Outside of that, I can't really complain. The materials are meh, but they get the job done. So honestly, for 120 bucks, I would recommend it if you guys were interested in picking up a pair. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Just make sure if you guys are playing on your dustier courts, wipe, because this thing does collect a lot of dust. That's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below, and also smash that thumbs up button for me, as it really does help me out. While you guys are at it, check out this video on my left and on my right, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.